All right, let's start some actual good teams. So we got two big matchups this week in week number 9. One of them being the 7-1 Indianapolis Colts. Yes, that's a real statistic against the 4-3, the team we talked about a little bit earlier, the Pittsburgh Steelers at Aquashore Stadium in Pittsburgh.
Yes. I will actually be doing a live reaction to this game on Sunday over on my YouTube channel, Under to the Max. So be sure to check that out. But I honestly think this game could go a long way in shaping what the AFC playoff picture looks like because of this. Indianapolis still has to play at Kansas City later in the season. I would not be surprised if that game, by the way, gets flexed into either Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. But Indy is currently the number 1 seed in the AFC right now at 7-1. I know before the season, I thought they'd be the worst team in the AFC. So what shows what I know, for God's sakes. But you have Pittsburgh, who is coming off of back-to-back losses against the Packers and the Bengals before they had won against the Browns, which isn't that impressive considering, well, it's the Browns. And now you come off giving up, 35 points against the Packers, if I'm not mistaken? And you gave Tucker Kraft, a Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce type performance. And now you have the Daniel Jones, who I have number 2 in my MVP voting.
That's surprising coming from you because I thought you would have gave it to Jonathan Taylor, who I think is more in the MVP conversation than Daniel Jones.
Well, the only reason I have him over Jonathan Taylor, as much as I love JT, is just because of the narrative surrounding quarterbacks of how valuable they are.
No, it's true. I think the difference here that was JT has 16 touchdowns.
No, if it were up to me, I'd rather vote for JT over Daniel Jones. But in this case, people, because of the narrative of, the quarterback's the most important position in football. It by default it has to go to Daniel Jones first, then Jonathan Taylor. By the way, I have Jordan Love number 4 in my MVP standings, followed by Matt Stafford at number 5.
So here's the thing for me. I think the Colts are the 3rd best team in the AFC. I think I would not pick them to beat Buffalo because Buffalo to me has Josh Allen, and outside of Patrick Mahomes, I'm not picking anybody to beat Josh Allen. And I would not pick them to go into Kansas City. I think Indy is probably another receiver and maybe another corner away. I think they're a really good team. I think they're a great story. I think they have a chance to get the number 1 seed, which I think will help a lot because the one thing I think they may be able to do on both Buffalo and Kansas City to give them a shot to win games is to run the football with Jonathan Taylor and that dominant offensive line. Shane Steichen has been mastery this season. He looks in the form he was when he took the Eagles to Super Bowl 57 as the offensive coordinator. I said going into the year, this Colts team could be good. I just did not know how good Daniel Jones is going to be. And to me, I look at this matchup against Pittsburgh, and again, the Steelers have not beat a winning team yet this season. I think Indianapolis has the decided advantage on the offensive and defensive lines, and as long as they keep Daniel Jones clean, I know Pittsburgh's going to play angry. I know they're going to be mad, but we thought that the same way against the Packers. Don't be surprised if this game ends up with the Colts winning by more than 1 possession.
See, I think this game could be close, actually, because everybody's dismissing Pittsburgh, and you got everybody putting Indianapolis at least top 3 in their power rankings, it seems like.
I'm not dismissing Pittsburgh. I just think the Colts are that good. I mean,
Well,
they're a 3-point favorite in Pittsburgh.
I'm not saying you are dismissing Pittsburgh. It just seems like most people are now dismissing Pittsburgh, especially because it sounds like Lamar's going to play on Thursday against the Dolphins.
And also, you know what's crazy about that? The Ravens at 1-1-5, where they were last week when they beat the Bears with Snoop Huntley, at 2-5 right now. They are 2 games back of the Steelers in the AFC North. And Vegas, we talked about the betting odds earlier and what you look at. The Ravens are currently the favorites to win the AFC North.
Yeah, and they still have 2 games left against each other, which, trust me, I will tune into that because for me, Steelers-Ravens is the best rivalry in the NFL. It is a top 3 rivalry in all of sports alongside Ohio State, Michigan, and Duke, North Carolina. I don't care. I will continue to say that is one of the best rivalries in all of sports, whether you like it or not.
Here's the other thing, though, too, Josh. The Colts' one loss this year was against the Rams. That was the game that Mitchell tossed the ball out of the end zone, or they might still be undefeated.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be a really interesting game. Like I said, I think it could have a major impact on how the AFC playoff picture shapes up. Because if Pittsburgh falls to 4-4 and Baltimore wins to get to 3-5, they're right back in the mix to win the division.
Agreed.
And who's to say that, Jacksonville can't figure it out and they grab one of those wild card spots, and guess who's left outside?
I disagree with that. So this is where I look at the AFC playoff picture. In my opinion, the AFC West is going to have 3 teams come out of it. Whoever wins the division and the 2 that don't will be wild cards. And I think that the AFC East is going to have Buffalo or New England as a wild card, whoever doesn't win that division. So I think there's only going to be 1 team out of the South. I think that's Indy. And I think there's going to be 1 team out of the North, whether that's Pittsburgh or Baltimore. Cincinnati's a long shot, but they can't even beat the Jets. So I think the AFC playoff picture right now is almost set. I understand what you're saying about Jacksonville, but I'm not taking them over the Chargers. I'm not taking them over Kansas City. And you know how I feel about the Broncos. I think Denver's absolutely better than Jacksonville. I don't think they're better than New England. I don't think they're better than Buffalo. I don't think they're better than Indy. And someone's got to win this division out of the North.
And that's why I'm saying this is an important game in how the AFC playoff picture shapes up, because I feel like Pittsburgh has to win this game to stay in the mix with someone because
of it's not necessarily true because of the division they're in. I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. 8 wins could win them this division.
If they win this division with 8 wins, well, that would snap their 10-win streak, or not.
They're over 500 streak.
Yes, which would be really weird, but it would be
they get a home playoff game against probably Denver or the Chargers, if I had to guess.
Didn't Seattle do that a couple years ago where they won the division? And
they won it at 7-9, and then they beat the Saints. That was the Marshawn Lynch game a long time ago.
That's what I thought.